Hi, I'm Ron with Amazing Mile Marker Stops, and today we're going to show you how to change out the valve cover gasket on a Lehman 135. First thing you need to do to replace the valve cover gasket is to remove the blow-by valve. And there's actually a little screw here. You need a small screwdriver if you need to loosen that. Oftentimes though, it'll just slip off. There is a gasket in here, but this is really smooth. There's no ridge for it to catch in, so lots of times like that it'll just slide right off. Next, you want to remove the screws that are holding the valve cover down. There's about 8 of them. Yep, 8. And on mine anyway, I don't know if it's the same on all of them, but on my engine it's a Phillips head. I've already gone around and loosened them a little bit, which I recommend to do rather than taking one off and that cork gasket underneath putting pressure at that particular point. I like to loosen them all just a little bit, let the cover lift up at one time, and then go around and just remove each of the screws and set them aside. Once you've got all 8 screws removed, it's time to take the valve cover off. Be careful not to damage anything underneath as you lift it up. Also try not to get any dirt or grime or whatever into the valves and stuff underneath this. You don't want anything that could become abrasive and cause problems. Valve cover. Alright, next you want to remove your cork gasket. Now you'll notice there's these little tabs right here, and they're spaced every so often apart. There's the next one right there. You got to pull those tabs out first, pop them out, go around and do that, and then your gasket will come loose. Those tabs hold it in place. There's the old gasket removed. Now what you do with this at this particular moment depends kind of on your situation. If you're just sitting in a marina, you're going to be here for a while and you got plenty of time, you can go ahead and trash this. If you're going to be moving within the next day or two, you may want to hold on to this guy just in case you mess up the new one. You don't have time to get another new one in. It's better to have this old leaking gasket on there than no gasket at all. So I set this aside at the moment, and until I'm sure that the new one is going to be okay. Next, you want to go ahead and wipe down particularly the ridge, but basically I wipe down the whole inside of the valve cover, outside of the valve cover, just get it completely clean. And you want to check, there shouldn't be anything here. You don't use any glues to hold this gasket, so it should be nice and smooth and clean all the way around, but double check, make sure that that's nice and clean to get a good seat on your new gasket. Once you've cleaned up the valve cover, then you want to come back and clean where the gasket is going to seat on the engine block itself. Again, there's not supposed to be any glue used, so this should be fairly clean. But go ahead and wipe all the oil off so you can get a look at it. places. On mine it's got a little bit of grime on it, so we're going to wipe that off. If need be, then you want to take a razor blade scraper and scrape it if there's any buildup on it. It should be pretty smooth when you're done, but you don't necessarily have to scrape it. That just depends on the condition of your engine. First step is just get all the oil off so you can see what's there. Once you've got everything cleaned up, you want to go ahead and put your gasket in place. This gasket is not bi-directional, so you have to first figure out which direction it goes, and you do that with the tabs. Those little tabs I showed you earlier, you have to pull out. You got to put them back in. So they're only going to line up one way, and that's the wrong way. So we got to flip it. And now the tabs will line up. Once you've figured out which direction it needs to go, what you want to do is you want to coat the surface that's going to go on the cover with some oil. Just get it on your finger. There's usually plenty laying around in the engine, but if you need more, then pull out your new oil and get it out of there. But once you've got the gasket good and lubricated, you want to go ahead and put it in place. Just use the tabs, hold it, insert the tabs in the little slots that are designated for it. They will hold the gasket where it needs to be. Now once your gasket is in place on the valve cover, then you want to do the same thing and go around and lubricate the underside of it that's going to mount on the engine block. At this point, we are ready to put the valve cover on. Being very careful you didn't get anything trapped in it. I've got a couple wires running up here to temperature sensors. Got to make sure they didn't get underneath the lid. At this point, ready to put the screws or bolts, depending on your engine, back in. First thing you want to do is just get them seated in the hole without really tightening it down any. Saw how I had to lift it up just then. That's why you don't tighten anybody down. Let's just get the thread started. And that gives us the ability to lift the lid if we need to. I'm not even snugging them at this point. I'm just starting the threads. Cork is showing in a hole. Let's see if I can show you this. I always kind of hate to touch my camera after my hands are all greasy, but there we go. You can see half the hole is covered by the cork. It's better to use something round like the screwdriver to pull that into place. Notice I'm not punching through it, I'm just moving it. And now you've got a complete hole. It's better to do that than try to screw through it, because the threads on your screw may tear up some of that cork. So don't try to punch through it or screw through it. Just move it into position and then put your screw on through it. Now once you've got all the threads started, what you want to do is, you've got 4 screws or 4 bolts depending on your engine on each side. You want to start with the second one back on this side and just snug it down. Don't tighten it, just snug it. And then you're going to go counterclockwise. Now once you've got screws all snug down, then you want to go back and tighten them down about the 7 foot-pounds, which is about as tight as you can get it with a screwdriver on your own. So go around and tighten them down. Again, using the same sequence, starting from the second one on the front on the starboard side and going around counterclockwise. Once you've got all the screws torqued down to the proper setting, then you're ready to put your blow-by cap back on. And you're all done. If you'd like to help us make more of these videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. It helps more than you know. And don't forget to check out the nation's largest free online travel guide for boaters, AmazingMileMarkerStops.com. And like us on Facebook. And remember, don't just cruise.
Visit Amazing Mile Marker Stops. Thanks.
There's the old cover. Excuse me, there's the old gasket removed, you don't have time to get another new one in. You don't have time to get another new one in.